And you're also going to need 7 3/4 inch buttons if you want to make your hood detachable. If not, you can sew it on to make it permanent, but otherwise 7 3/4 inch buttons. And I'm going to be using a size K, which is a 6.5 millimeter crochet hook. Now we're going to start with the slip knot on our hook, and we want to start out with a chain of 20. Just 1, 2, 3. We're starting out with the scarf. And 20. Now we're going to start by doing 1 single crochet in the second stitch from the hook, and remember that we never count the one that's on our hook. So in the second stitch we do a single crochet, and now we're going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch for the length of the chain. Just like that, and when you get to the end of the chain, you should have a total of 19 stitches. Okay, once you make it to the end and you have your 19 stitches, you want to chain 1 and turn your work. Now this is a real easy stitch, the cobble stitch. We want to put 1 single crochet right here into the very first stitch. Just like that. And now we're going to put a triple crochet into the next. So that's where we yarn over twice. Go into the next stitch, and then we triple crochet. Like that. And then single crochet into the next. And then it's kind of just a repeat. Triple crochet into the next, yarn over twice, and triple crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next, triple crochet into the next, and single crochet. So you just repeat the triple crochet, single crochet, triple crochet, single crochet until you get to the end of your row. And when you get to the end, you still should have 19 stitches. Just like that. And when you make it to the end, your last stitch should be a single crochet. So a single crochet into that last stitch, and then we chain 1 and turn, and you can kind of see how it gets bumpy, and that's what we want it to look like. Now what we do is we put 1 single crochet into the same beginning stitch, same first stitch, and now it's just 1 single crochet in every single stitch all the way across until you get to the end of the row. Just like this. So it's just a row of single crochet, and when you make it to the end, you still should have 19 stitches again. And if you counted and you have your 19, all it is chain 1 and turn, and it's just a repeat of those rows that we've been doing. So now we're going to single crochet into the very first stitch, and then triple crochet into the next, and then single crochet and then triple crochet into the next. Single crochet, and then triple crochet. And you just want to repeat this to the end of the row. And when you get to the end, you just chain one and turn, and then you do your row of single crochet. So it's just the row of, it's just repeating those 2 rows. And that's what it starts to look like. And you want to repeat those 2 rows for a total of 195 rows. You can do more if you want, or less. You just might need more yarn than what I said so in the beginning. And once you get your 195 rows done, show you what it looks like here. You should have ended in a single crochet row. And what you want to do after that is just tie your yarn off and leave a long tail, about 12 or 18 inches, because we're going to sew this together, the ends of the scarf together, and make an infinity scarf. So once you get that done, 195 rows, and clip your yarn, you want to put your ends together like this, and then you're going to need your yarn needle. That's how I'm going to sew it together. With my long tail that I left, I'm going to put it on the yarn needle, and I'm just going to neatly sew my ends together. I got the right sides of my work facing me, both my ends together, and I'm just going to take it and sew it up nice and neat. Go through this stitch and then through this stitch. So I'm going back and forth, and then the next stitch and the next stitch, just like that. If you don't want to make it an infinity scarf, you don't have to. You don't have to sew it together. You can leave it plain if you'd rather it be plain, or just, leave it as a regular scarf. If you wanted to slip stitch this together too, you could do that. But you just want to get it all sewed together until you get to the end, and then you just want to clip your yarn, tie it off, If you want to go across again and make sure it's nice and sewed on, you can. That is up to you. There you go. And it's all sewed together, so you'll have a seam there in the back. And then you just kind of hide your tail. Weave it in. I'll weave it in the back side here. And then we'll do the hood, which the hood is done the exact same way. It's really easy. It's a really easy pattern. You can clip that once you get it sewed in good enough. And that is, the scarf is done. So you can wear this by itself, or you can attach the hood to it. Now the hood is made the exact same way that we just did the scarf. The only difference is you're going to start out with a chain of 70 instead of the chain of 20. So you do it the exact same way. You start out with a chain of 70, and then you do 1 single crochet in the second stitch from the hook, and 1 single crochet in every stitch of the chain. And when you get to the end, you'll have 69 stitches now at the end of every row for the hood. So it'll be 69, and then you do your single crochet, triple crochet, single crochet, triple crochet, just like we did before, and you'll have 69 stitches at the end of that row, and then we'll chain 1 and turn and do our row of 1 single crochet in every stitch, just like we did before, 69 stitches. And you want to do the hood for a total of 39 rows on the hood. So you should end in a row of single crochet. So remember, the hood's just done the same as the scarf, it's just longer, as you can see. You start with a chain of 70, and then you'll end with 69 stitches at the end of each row. And once you get your 39 rows done, again, you just tie that off just like you did before on the scarf. Now what we're going to do is we're going to sew up the hood. So we're going to fold it. This last row of single crochet that we did and we tied off is going to be the front of our hood. So it's going to be the part that goes around your face. So you want to take it, and here's the front part of my hood right up here, and I got the wrong side facing me. And you want to fold it over like that. So here's the front part of my hood. Here's where I just tied off. We're going to sew the back side up the same way we sewed the scarf up. Only I'm just going to I'm going to cut a separate piece of yarn to do it. I'm not going to use the tail or anything. So, I'll find out what I did with my needle here. Okay, so you got your needle, and you just want to start by putting your ends together. This is the very starting chain that we're sewing together, folded in half, the very first chain that we made. So this is the first row of our work, and this is the last row, and that's the part that's going to be the front of the hood. So just take it and sew it together the same way we sewed the scarf together. So it's real easy. This is going to be the back of our hood. So the seam of the hood is going to be on the back part of your head. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all sewed up. You just sew it up until you get to the top, and then you just tie it off and hide your tails. Okay, once you got your hood all sewed up there it is. And so that's the back of your hood. You got that seam. You could have folded it opposite way where your seam wouldn't have been so visible, but I don't think the seam is really that bad. So it's such a thicker yarn that it's not a bad seam. So but either way is fine. Now I'm going to work on the bottom. So I'm going to put my work. Here is the back. Here is the front. I am going to flip it upside down like that. So now the back is here with the seam that I just sewed, and here is the front. And I'm going to work right up here at the top. So where I'm going to start what I'm going to do is go around the bottom with some rows of single crochet so I can attach some buttons to it. So starting right here in the very first stitch here, I am going to chain 1, and I'm going to single crochet right back into that same stitch. And now I'm going to put 1 single crochet in every stitch around the piece. It's actually working around the bottom of the hood is what we're working. And it's kind of hard to determine where the single crochets go. You can't really just kind of evenly space them out at the end of the rows here. You just want to keep going all the way down here. And that's what it's just cleaning up the edge here. And you can see here's my seam right here. So I'm working towards my seam right now where we sewed the hood together. Okay, when I get to the seam, I just keep single crocheting across it. Like right here is the seam where we sewed it together. Just keep evenly spacing out your single crochets right across it, just like that. And now I'm going to keep working one single crochet in every stitch here until I get to the other side over here. Okay, when you make it to the end of the row, all we're going to do is chain one and turn our work, and we're going to work across again. We're going to put one single crochet into the very first stitch and one single crochet in every stitch all the way across the whole bottom of the hood. So it's just another row of single crochet on the bottom of the hood. Just like that. Okay, when you make it to the end, we're going to do it one more time. We're going to chain one and we're going to turn. And now we're going to work one single crochet again in every stitch all the way across the bottom. So this will be the third row of single crochet across the bottom of the hood. Just like this. And we're going to go all the way across the bottom, just like we've been doing. And then don't tie off when you get to the end. We're going to do one more thing. So I'll meet you right over here at the end. Okay, once you made it all the way to the end here for your third row, what we're going to do is we're just going to continue working up the front part of the hood again and back around over here to the other side, just to clean up the front part. So we're going to just continue where we started. This last stitch here that we just did, and go ahead and put 2 more single crochets in that stitch. That'll help around the corner better. That means there's 3 single crochets in that corner stitch. And now just continue up the side of the hood, working one single crochet in every stitch, or the side or the front. That's all one piece. The front, I'll say it. Working one single crochet in every stitch up the front part of the hood. And this kind of just cleans up all the edges and makes it look like it's all one solid piece, that we didn't do separate rows at the bottom. Just like this. Remember, we're working across the front of the hood now. And you want to do one single crochet all the way across the front, and I'll meet you right over here at the other corner. Okay, I'm coming down here to the end of working that single crochet across the front, and you just want to end here by putting 3 single crochets into that last stitch. That'll make it around the corner better. And then you want to slip stitch into this first stitch right over here, and that will end that. And now you can tie that off and hide that tail. And if you look at it now, lay it out, you can see it's kind of just one big square. I'm going to move my camera. But now down at the bottom of the hood, you have a row of single crochet, 3 rows of single crochet. And here's the front, and the back is seamed up. So I'm going to sew some buttons on the bottom down here so we can attach it to the scarf or unattach it if we want. Now, if you'd rather just slip stitch this onto the scarf so it's permanent, you can do that, or sew it on with your yarn needle so it's permanent. I'm just going to have it sew some buttons on to have the option to take it off if I want. And then you want to space them like this, and with a regular thread needle, sew them on. I got 1, 2, 3, and then I got 1 right here at the seam, and then I'll turn it over and I'll put 3 more. 1, line them up with the other side where the other ones are, 2 and 3, and then just still have that 1 back here. So I'm going to go ahead and get my button sewed on with my thread and needle. You can use yarn and yarn needle if you prefer to. Okay, once you get your button sewed on, what you're going to do is get your scarf, and here's the seam of the scarf. And I'm just going to line up the seam of the hood with the seam of the scarf and just kind of line it up as best you can and just kind of button it on there. About just through these rows of triple, like in between the triple crochets and the single crochets. Just kind of lay it out and get it buttoned on there so it's nice and straight. And now you can take it off anytime you want or leave it on. And remember, I said if you don't want to have to button it on and stuff all the time, just sew it on with your yarn and yarn needle like we did, like we sewed the hood and scarf, or you could slip stitch it on. It's completely up to you. I just thought it'd be nice, something different to kind of have an option, you know, to take it off if you wanted to, like that. And then you just come around and do the other side, line it up, get it buttoned, and that's it. That's all there is to it. I hope that you enjoyed my tutorial. I hope you're able to follow along okay. It was pretty easy, I think. Pretty easy tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and check out all my other tutorials. I got hundreds of them. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook too. You can follow me on Pinterest and Instagram. And that's it. And until next time, have a good day.